So a lot of these are just bug fixes. This is fine. I think it's funny, the clown emojis.
Yeah, I mean, that stuff's
Performance.
old. We probably don't want to talk about that. That's a week old, that stuff.
Is it? I mean, that's not a week old. It's a couple days old. But this is recent. I mean, there's stuff here that's affecting, affecting the current state of the game. This is kind of relevant. But obviously, like a huge nerf for what's it called, rogues and barbs, I guess, right? Because would barbs be running True Fizz on everything
Wait, what?
for the throwing knives and for Francisca axes?
Oh. I mean, even if they aren't, the fact that their strength buff is also not affecting. Any physical
Right.
damage multiplier is not affecting their axes.
Right, so it's kind of a nerf to barbs as well when they're running like a million Franciscas.
Yeah. I mean, I don't even think of it necessarily as a nerf. I think it's just like because if you have like a purple one, it's doing a lot of damage.
Yeah,
Goes up
so
by
it just kind
3
of
with
makes
each
it.
rarity.
It just makes it so that you have to go higher and higher in
Yeah, exactly.
rarities in order to actually get like real damage.
Yeah,
Okay.
so freaking freaks in Hyrule are still gonna have.
Yeah. True. Is there anything else that's kind of like huge from the patch notes as far as, like this is whatever.
I thought
Back
the
down a bit
biggest
then.
thing was the druid boss.
Oh yeah.
I thought that
Action
was the
speed
biggest
increased
thing.
5%. Panther health penalty removed. That's crazy.
A panther has the same health as a human now.
Yeah,
They're
that's
just
gonna
a
be
smaller
crazy.
hitbox.
Yeah.
And barkskin armor gives them 15% headshot reduction. So now the panther is gonna have like 30% headshot reduction if they're wearing a helmet.
Yeah. So you
Same
think
health as a human.
that's gonna stack with like gear?
Oh yeah, of course.
Oh great.
Of course it will.
Okay. Well, I guess those are like really the main things to talk about. Magical damage,
Yeah,
crystal
that's why
ball,
that druid was
mask,
shitting on
and
us.
yeah. We are seeing more druids for sure in the last couple days, so that's definitely all right. Let's go over to
If druid
SDF's
can't
kitchen.
work now, then
Yeah.
the druid players just suck. Like, yeah, I don't know.
All right, so this is the most recent thing that he posted. So he said, Terry and I handled balance adjustments and internal testing ourselves. However, since we were managing many different tasks at the same time.
Wait. Hold on.
What? What's going on?
We're not recording right now, right?
I turned it on. We're going. We're doing it.
Oh,
We're doing it live. Yeah. We're doing it live. Yeah, so I probably don't have to read this. People can just pause on it. I actually haven't even read this, so maybe it'll help.
Yeah,
for
let's
me
read
to,
it.
like, read it. Yeah. Okay. So Terry and I handled balance adjustments and internal testing ourselves. However, since we were managing many different tasks at the same time, it was difficult to conduct enough repeated testing to properly validate each change. We were able to establish the overall direction, but we clearly recognized that fine-tuning required dedicated personnel and more specialized tools. In the meantime, various members of the design team helped out where they could, but since everyone had their own primary responsibilities, it was hard to maintain a consistent testing process. Based on that experience, we established a dedicated balance part this season to enable more systematic and focused approach going forward. Thanks to this effort, we have been able to improve several abilities that were previously underused. Even if the work is still ongoing, we plan to continue in this direction and strive to bring steady and positive changes in a consistent and sustainable way. Building on this, our goal for next season is to introduce new abilities as many existing classes as possible, while implementing ideas that can inspire more exciting styles of play. For example, the barbarian might gain a skill that allows them to throw their weapon, or a perk that lets them wield a two-handed weapon in each hand. Okay. What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, he's saying him and Terry were the only ones doing the balancing for 2 years or whatever, however long it was, for some reason, even though there was
Yeah.
like 50 plus people at the company.
Wow.
Yeah, that was ridiculous.
That's insane.
And
Yeah.
then, yeah, so I guess they got some more people to help them, which I think Grayson might be one of them, and maybe some others. And now we
Yeah.
actually got balance changes to like a bunch of the perks and stuff this way, which is really nice.
True.
And yeah, he's saying now that they have more people working on that, they got more people to, hopefully make some new interesting perks.
Yeah. Yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this is all stuff that a lot of people have heard before. It's kind of,
Yeah.
stuff we've all heard before. Nothing
He's
really
been
too new.
saying stuff. He's been saying stuff. He just kind of fires from the hip. Kind of reminds me
Yeah.
of the developer from No Man's Sky, who just kind of gassed up the game like a lot before release, and then when it released, it was kind of underbaked. And
hmm
granted, they've paid back the community for people that bought it, and they kind of fixed the game, and the game has transformed a lot since then. But I kind of feel like he should maybe not say certain things, because like
Yeah. Yeah.
and I know
That
this is SDF's kitchen and he's just rambling, but like I feel like when they're talking about all this crap that they're trying to do, and we're gonna get further into it, but like I feel like the question that keeps coming back to my mind, like, is this really where we want the design time being spent? For
in
barbarians to be like dual wielding, um, like
um
two-handed weapons. What is he going to turn into a helicopter? Like, come on.
so I mean that I don't think is, a bad idea. I think they should definitely make some interesting, like in my mind, if the barbarian got a perk like that, it would be similar to Slayer, right? Where it's like you can do that, but you can't do something else, and they get like a movement speed buff or something like that. That's probably what it would be,
Right.
right?
Right.
And those perks are always cool because it's like basically a whole new playstyle in just a single perk.
Right.
And so yes, I do think their design should be in that. But then later on, I think it's in the SDF kitchen. He's talking about, yeah, it's Faustian Bargain down there. He's
Yeah.
he elaborates more on Faustian Bargain, saying, I mean, do we want to read it?
Yeah.
Do we
Yeah.
want to read it
I mean,
first and
we're
then talk about it?
skipping the monk thing. So Monk's not going to be ready this season or
Yeah,
next season or
honestly,
anything,
if I was him, I would have just not even said anything about Monk. Like,
right?
I get
Yeah.
it's nice that, yeah, let us know like that you're not doing it, but I don't think anybody was really expecting it. I don't think anybody really wants it because like most
I know.
people,
I think people want Monk.
they want it, but like most people are pretty attached to their own classes. Like, I don't think there's anybody that's like, except for maybe some streamers that are like, I've played every class and done everything
Yeah.
with all the classes, and I'm just out of things to do. Like, no, most people play like one or two classes, they stick to those, and they like playing those classes. But
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. So, monk, and usually whenever they make a class, it's always broken or shitty
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
so like
True.
nobody's looking forward to another balanced fucking overhaul from a new class. So I
Yeah.
think keep Monk away as long as possible. Honestly, I don't really care.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah. Basically, he says Monk's not going to be available because they're focused on other things. And then that other thing they said is the Faustian bargain.
Which is
Uh,
crazy.
yeah. So I'm gonna read that part there where he says the Faustian bargain is currently in testing phase, exploring what elements are needed to make playing a monster truly enjoyable. Our goal is to create an experience that's fun for both those playing as monsters and for those facing them. To achieve this, monsters that move too slowly or feel overly powerful will need adjustments, but rather than simply tweaking numbers, the focus on making monsters' gameplay smoother and more natural, allowing the playstyle itself to evolve. At the moment, monster movement still feels a bit rough and clunky, so there's still some distance to go before reaching the ideal state. That said, we decided to release it early in an experimental form, as we wanted to quickly expand the range of playable experiences and refine the system together with players through active feedback and iteration. Um,
That is crazy to me. Crazy to write that in a sentence. And like,
so this kind
yeah.
of goes back, and actually, so we should include the next part here. It's basically a chart that's showing all the different queues and what people play. And according to this chart, like 20% of people play
Trio adventure.
PvE. Yeah,
Yeah.
adventure mode. So PvE. So 20% of people don't even fight other players, and a lot of people, especially that we know, like their enjoyment of the game comes from PvP. So like that's kind of a shocker to me and you,
Yeah. For
and most of the
sure.
people
Yeah.
we know.
Yeah. I would have
Um,
guessed that duos was gonna be higher than trios, but
so yeah, it
duo
looks like
normal.
there's Trio Adventure, which is that purple one. That's the biggest one,
Yeah.
pretty much.
Yeah.
And then, but keep in mind though that there is only trios in adventure. So there's not solo
Yeah.
adventure or dual adventure. There's only trios. So
True. True.
that plays a part in it. But then after that, it's just normal dungeon solo, which I think a lot of us knew that most people play by themselves.
Yep.
Um, and then all the other stuff. But so a while back in SDF's Kitchen, he had mentioned that he sees the game as a I think he said like medieval fantasy simulator or something like that.
Hmm.
Do you remember that when he said
No.
that?
No. No. It's been
Yeah,
a.
he said that like in the middle of all like the back and forth patches. Good luck trying to find it now, but he basically said like he
Yeah.
sees the game now as like a medieval simulator or something like that, something along those lines, where like there's a lot of different people going into the game for different reasons. It's not just
Yeah.
the original vision of like a super PvP heavy game. Like there's just all kinds of different ways, and I think that's what we're seeing here now is between the PvE mode, and he said he wants to expand on that, and the Faustian Bargain, which is a brand new way to play the game. Like, and he's saying we didn't read it yet, but basically he says later on that PvE or Faustian Bargain could potentially be a way to play the entire wipe, where you play
That's
the entire wipe as a monster.
that's mind-boggling. That's like it's just like a completely different game, you know? Like I think people that
Yeah,
installed
it
Dark and
literally is.
Darker didn't sign up to try to play as a goblin to grief other players. And I think the thing that really kind of I don't want to say pisses me off because I'm really not that invested, but the thing is it kind of bugs me though is that if there's no progression to your character or the main point of the game which is just collecting loot and building kits and things like that, like,
Hmm.
what is the point of spending development time on this feature that is, as of this current moment, purely designed to grief other players that are playing the game? Like, that's the thing that I
I
don't
mean,
understand.
you call it griefing, other people call it just having fun.
Yeah, I know. There are pickpocket rogues after all.
Yeah, I mean, like that's again, that's according to him, which again you'd have to go back and find it, but I remember him saying specifically like the vision was changing, where it's going to be more of like, and that's when they talked about the gathering halls that they're going to introduce and all that stuff. Like he wants it to be much more widespread what people are kind of doing in Dark and Darker, almost like MMO type stuff, where like there's not just people PvPing, there's not people just
Yeah.
bossing. There's all kinds of stuff. You can go and chop trees for a living, or you
Yeah.
can go be a goblin for a living. But
Yeah.
and I agree with you as it stands now. Like when you say you're just griefing the other players, you're saying that because there's no progression within the monsters, pretty much. Like
Well,
you're the monster,
there's
you
no
acquire.
you can't loot as a monster. The only thing you can do is go try to kill other players, and other players are trying to play the game, and you have nothing to gain by killing them, and they have everything to lose.
Well, that's not technically true though, because the deal maker gives you gold for hurting players, and you can buy essentially end-game gear with that gold. So,
I don't know, dude.
like,
That's troll.
yeah, that is
That's so
as it is
troll.
now. It's bad. Like, if you're doing it just to like make money or whatever, like, yeah, it's not the best way to do it. But I think what he's saying is he wants to give more incentives to use that playstyle.
Yeah, I get it. I don't
Like
get it.
maybe you will be able to loot as a goblin.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, maybe that's the vision. I don't know. I don't know what he's cooking,
I
but
think I think in its best form, it'll be like it'll be like a scav run, right? Where you just like
yeah.
pick to load in as a monster. If you hit somebody, you get like maybe like half of a inventory space, like half of
Mm,
what a normal person's inventory would look like. Maybe you can loot in the game. Maybe every time you hit players, like, or maybe you can only loot off players that you kill or something. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And it gives you
Yeah.
like half of the inventory space. That would be something
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah. I don't know what that's gonna look like. It just sounds troll,
It's
honestly.
basically like the scav system in Tarkov. I mean,
Yeah, but
it's
that's
the
just
same
Squire
thing.
Kit. Like scav system
Mm,
in Tarkov is basically just Squire Kit. Am I wrong?
no, not really, because the scavs in Tarkov don't have to worry about PvE. They literally only kill players.
Oh yeah. Okay. Hmm.
It is different. It is very different, and also, and it works the same way in that if you kill players and stuff, you level up your guy, your fence, or
Right.
in Dark and Darker, your deal maker, and you get better scavs. In this, you get better monsters. It's literally a carbon copy of scav, just in this
Okay.
game.
All right. Fair. Fair. I guess I'm not as familiar with Tarkov because I haven't played it too much.
Yeah, I'm not saying that's a good thing. I'm just saying like
Yeah.
it's not like nobody else has done this and it's just troll. Like it is a proven system in another game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. All right. That's
Um,
fair. Okay, so going back to this though, I think something worth mentioning that I saw people commenting on, I think on Sparky's video, was that like I wonder how much of this adventure player base has to do with RMTing and has to do with the fact that you have to bring in, basically good kits now into normals. You can't just run well, you can run a Squire kit, but if you run into the freaks, which we seem to do every single game, you're just gonna die. And what's the other thing? Also, Arena requires you to buy your kits now because you can't play arenas normally with a self-found kit because it's just never going to be as bis as it could be if you just buy, you know, the kits.
so I think a big inflation of the PvE player base is I think SDF could be way off on this. Is he's interpreting this as like, oh, people love PvE, like they love just killing my monsters. Like, I don't think that's what it is, and I don't necessarily think it's armed tiers, but I guarantee you, what a lot of it is just freaks that go to HR, but they do 5 PvE runs while they're listening to Spotify, and that's how they fuel their HR kits. Is
Yeah.
they do 5 PvE runs to each one HR run. You know what I mean? Like
Right, yeah.
they're not necessarily like, oh, I love PvE. Like no, they just like making money
Yeah.
without having to think about it. While they can
Yeah,
listen to
without
Spotify.
having, like, any real risk. Yeah, because PvE is pretty easy.
Yeah, like they can listen to a podcast. You can do whatever you want while doing the PvE. Like I think STF could make a big mistake here by like, oh, people love PvE. I should invest a lot into it, which is what he said he wants to do. Like make
Yeah.
a high roller version of it. Add like rewards to it. It's like, I don't know if people really like. Yeah, there's some
Yeah.
people that like to do PvE, but
Yeah.
like the PvE is not. There's no way it's that interesting
Yeah.
long term.
Yeah. Yeah. And honestly, I'm not surprised about the high roller numbers being that low either. If you look at these high roller numbers, that's tiny for solo and for where's the other one? Dungeon high roller. For
The
duo
green.
high roller, green one is tiny again, and trio high roller is this one up here, also tiny. So that makes what, like maybe another 20% is the
This chart is
total.
so fucking dumb to read. I don't understand what the fuck this chart is.
Yeah,
Like, what is
it's
this?
it's not organized at all. No. But
Is
yeah,
this
I'm
how
not
SDF's brain
surprised.
works? Like, this is how he sees the game, bro. Like, what is this? It's gotta be the least efficient chart I've ever seen in my life. Am I wrong,
Yeah.
bro?
Yeah, it's hard for charts are supposed to make information more easy to understand. This
Like
is
the key on the
yeah.
right side doesn't even align with the colors on the chart.
Yeah.
Like it's not like in order.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I
I
don't
don't
I don't know, man. I agree. I okay, so they're
know.
gonna continue supporting PvE. That's good. They need new challenges for players who primarily enjoy PvE. Great. Um, let's see. What I personally enjoyed the most about this season's work was through seasons 6.5 and 6.9, we were able to the semi wipe and the semi wipe.
Yeah.
In other words, so we were finally able to fully resolve our long-standing questions regarding the direction of solo, duo, trio, and item gap design. Because of that, everything we worked on this season felt like a step forward, progress that pushes the game ahead. Of course, until we reach
I agree with
version,
that.
yeah, I think so too. Yeah, of course, until we reach version 1.0, there will continue to be experiments in new areas, but at least for the aspects we've already tested and verified, I think we can finally move forward without lingering doubts.
Yeah. So
Tomorrow, yeah, go ahead.
I think for like the majority of the player base and like all the streamers, the writing was on the wall. What was wrong with the game and this and that. But apparently at SDF it wasn't. So he felt the need to go back and forth 10 times to verify to himself what was wrong with the game. And then
That's
he
crazy.
now at least now he's has peace in his mind and now he can move forward.
Surely this is the time when we don't go back and forth.
And that's when an angel appeared to him and said, Faustian bargain.
Yeah, this is the solution.
Yeah.
Okay, well, he's expressing gratitude. Let's talk about other stuff. Let's see. Both past and future directions. In previous seasons, we faced several challenges as the number of dungeons increased, along with the introduction of normal and high roller modes, different party types such as solo, duo, trio, and gear brackets based on item gaps. Those overlapping systems led to fragmentation of matching pools and various related issues. At the start of the season, we removed the world map and replaced dungeon selection with a book and bookshelf interface reminiscent of a campaign book. Oh, okay. Right, I was thinking it was the these things. Where are we?
Nope. Yeah.
So this is actually kind of cool.
Yeah, this is going to like rotate, kind of like in like Apex Legends. There's a bunch of different maps, but like each season, only a couple of the maps are in rotation. I'm thinking is pretty much what he's saying is like maybe HR next season will only be Crips and Blue Maelstrom or something.
Okay.
Which I think is
honestly
not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Not a bad idea.
I didn't mind the rotating timer thing either. I don't know if you remember that, but like we had because sometimes it'd be like, oh, we've got whatever those ice caves for the next 4 minutes. It's like, all right, I'm just gonna go use the bathroom and go grab a cookie, and then I'll be back and we're ready for ruins.
Yeah. So yeah, I think this layout is cool too. Yeah, and it also is like it calls back the Dungeons and Dragons, which is what the game's based on.
Yeah. All right, so where am I? With this season,
like midway through this
dungeon rotational system, we plan to continue adding new dungeons to fulfill the fantasy of the medieval dungeon exploration. Is this what you were talking about? However, since each dungeon varies in scope and completeness, our first step will be to balance the overall content volume across all dungeons before finalizing the retirement rules. Okay. High roller mode.
Yeah, he said something similar to that in a previous STF Skenshin, where he thinks the game is more of like a fantasy medieval. I want to say he said like simulation, but not necessarily simulation. He said something like along the lines of like role playing type thing, where it's all types of different people doing all types of different things. You know what? I'll you keep reading. I'm gonna find it myself, and I'll tell you where to look for it.
Okay. It says the high roller mode was originally designed for hardcore players seeking greater risk and rewards, naturally dividing the player base between normal and high roller modes, while maintaining the smallest possible number of matchmaking brackets. After extensive testing, we concluded that the game benefits from having a variety of party compositions, and that reducing gear gaps too much can undermine the core enjoyment of this genre, which I agree. I agree. That said, aside from the truly hardcore players who thrive in extreme competitive environments, most players find it difficult to enjoy the game when the gear cap feels unfair or punishing. For that reason, we believe it is important to use gear brackets to create space for more casual players to comfortably and grow, to play comfortably and grow naturally, allowing them to gradually escalate into higher levels of play. Okay, so I actually disagree with this, and on to this next thing that he's talking about with having a 0 to 24 bracket that carries low risk. He's basically saying Squire to Rich is 0 to 24. I think the problem, and this is something that we talked about like yesterday, and I think in like the previous like podcast, but it's the fact that you have market. And I used to be I am a person that loves the market. I love to play the market. I love to make all the money. Having all the money is great, but I've come to learn, I guess the hard way, that the market really undermines, I think, the core experience of the game, because when the market's open,
Yep.
everybody that wants to play the game and stomp on people, they're going to be trying to running the best kits with the best stats. And if you have a lot of time, or you're just naturally like really good, well, maybe not naturally, but you've played the game a lot, you're really good at the game, you're naturally going to have more money. So you buy the best kits, and then you can outstat people and win situations that you otherwise wouldn't if you had to find that gear yourself. So what ends up
Yeah.
happening is you load up into a normals game, and like that first day that market opened, and you were running into people with like bis purples, and it was unsurmountable like levels of stats, because they were like bis purples with bis stats that were gemmed. Whatever stat was missing was gemmed in. And we were coming in with our self-found gear from like the day or two before, and it was like no comparison. Like I'm stabbing a cleric in the head 7 times, and he just bonks me twice and I'm dead,
And
you know?
I think the real issue with this too is, I was thinking about this today, is that we're what, a month into this wipe? Not
Yeah.
even. Like, we're like a week away from when the market opened.
Yeah.
So there's still 2 months left, I think.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, the end game gear is going to get more and more prevalent, but people are wearing borderline bis in normals, the blue normals, and then also like
Oh, I didn't even touch on that yet.
there's supposed to be a progression of gear in wipes. And wipe based games, that's the point of a wipe, is just that, like, the gear slowly progresses, people are wearing better and better gear, and then you wipe, so this way when aren't able to match up anymore, you wipe, everybody's on the same playing field again, everybody can have fun again. But they're
Yeah.
trying to like artificially put people on that same playing field throughout a 3-month process, instead of solving the core problem, which in this case is the market, or it could be also,
Yeah.
I said earlier that I think it was a big mistake to let all the quests be done right off the bat, because then you can craft those end game gear week one. That
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
like in Tarkov, in this hardcore wipe they had recently. One of the things they did was they time gated the quests, and the quests are even more important in Tarkov to getting end game gear than they are in this game. I
Right.
think if they tied the quest, or tied some sort of um, trader reputation to the gear, because like right now you do your quest, your reputation with that trader goes up, and you can craft better gear with them. But you can also buy better gear from them, but it just never makes sense to buy that gear from them, because it's like random rules and shit like that, and it's just more
Yeah.
expensive than it would be just to get it from the market. They need to make that not the case. They need to make it so it's always better to get your gear from the traders than it is the market. I don't know how exactly they need to go about doing that,
Mhm.
but they need to make it that way, so that way you're rewarded for playing the game, for doing the quests, and then you can get better end game gear from your traders instead of from other players. Because that's how it works in Tarkov, and I think that's a good system. It's just
Yeah.
the people that do the quests, they're able to buy the good gear from the traders, and they don't have to use the market. And if you use the market, you're spending like a shit ton.
Yeah. Well,
That's
I
basically how it works.
I don't necessarily think that that's like, I don't know. I do like the market, but the thing that I really don't like is that once the market opens and you run into BIS people, like let's say you go and lose a kit, right? And you want to just go back in to play the game. Well, you can't, because now you have to basically go into the market to buy another kit, because you can't just, you know, unless you're rolling in like
Yes.
absolute bis, if your whole stash is rolling in absolute bis, you just can't just throw stuff that you've just found. Most of that stuff is not really worth it's maybe worth selling, but it's maybe not worth running, and that's kind of
Yeah.
different. Um and I and I
Yeah.
and I think that's kind of been one of our frustrations. Yeah, I know for sure for you, it's like we'll go into normals or high roller or whatever, and we'll lose a kit. We'll do it again, and then at the third time, it's like, okay, I'm running Squire kit because I don't feel like putting together another kit. Rather than,
Yeah.
if there was no market, you first of all wouldn't run into people that have absolute bis all the fucking time unless they play the game a lot, in which case they deserve to win. Fine. But
Yeah.
but not somebody that's like, maybe they're arm teeing money, right? So that's like another avenue. They're arm teeing money because let's say they don't have a whole lot of time to play.
But if
Maybe
there's
they're
no
decently
market, it's a
skilled.
lot harder to arms game money too. Keep that in mind.
What do you mean? If there's no market, it's harder to arm tee.
If there's no market, you can't like trade people to get kits from people that farm.
Right? Isn't that a good thing?
Yeah, that's good.
Oh,
That's
okay,
good.
okay, okay. I thought you were saying it was a bad thing. I was processing. Yeah, exactly. So it's just like you just don't run into people, like you'll run into good players that don't have BIS, and I think that that's healthy for the game, you know. And I think that then it encourages you to play the game, and that's why I also feel like Arena should also follow suit, because part of the progression of playing the game is like you find, like, let's say every couple of runs where you're playing high roller, you make it all the way through hell, you find like one piece of BIS and you're like, oh shit, those boots are like my arena boots, and then you got to get out with
Yep.
those boots and you throw them on your kit, and now the next time you go into arena you have something to look forward to because you just happen to get an
Yeah.
upgrade or 2 or 3 that week, and your
If they
kit
made arena
gradually.
that way, then that would also fuel that thing that I was talking about of like progression of the way. But maybe you're not
Yeah,
necessarily, increasing
your
your
kit.
overall gear the way, but you're increasing your arena gear, like
Yeah.
by
Your
playing the
kit
game.
would gradually get better over time because you're playing the game to feed into that kit. And it just kind of, it's like it feeds into the game. Like it gives you a reason to log in and play the game. I feel like how many people are out there that literally just play on the weekends now because it's just arena
Yep.
time, They have no
Yep.
reason to play the game because they can
A
buy
couple
all
friends
their
do that.
gear. Yeah.
And even
Like
I
they
said when we were playing arena, it's just like arena. I don't even necessarily like arenas that much. I like it, but like
it's
I
fun.
prefer the game itself. But at the same time, arena burns me out of the game because it's like you said, I can just load. Even if we lose 3 in a row, I can still just press Q again, just go in again. Doesn't
Exactly.
matter. I don't have to re-Q again. I don't have to re-gear again. It's just so much easier. Where if I lose 3 in a row on normals or HR, like, ugh, bro, I don't want to. I do not want to spend another 5-10 minutes fucking gearing
Re-gearing
up.
up.
It's so
Yeah.
annoying.
Yep.
um,
That's why I've been playing a lot
yeah,
of Squire to Riches. I've been enjoying that a lot, just because it's like everybody's on the playing field. You're not running
the
into people in
gameplay
absolute
is
BIS.
fun for sure,
Yeah,
but it's not an extraction game. It's just like it's a battle royale. Like I want to
yeah,
play an extraction.
I know.
You know what I
But
mean?
so
Like I
if I'm
want to.
trying to chill out at the end of the day, like I've just been playing Squire because it's like I can turn my brain off and just play the game and not have to worry about having a like not a pristine but like a bespoke kit for the class that I'm playing.
Yeah, yeah. It's definitely like I will enjoy myself playing Squire, but I'm not getting what I want. Like if I wanted to do that, I'll just go play Mega Bonk, bro. If I want to turn my brain off, I'll go play Mega Bonk,
Yeah,
and then I'll
that's
really
fair.
turn my brain off, and it'll be great.
Yeah.
But yeah, the market just it just makes every piece of gear just worth this number of gold. That's all it is to it.
Yeah.
Like it's not gear isn't gear anymore. It's
It
just
makes it makes
a pile of
most of
gold.
the gear it makes most of the gear worthless, right?
Yeah,
Because unless
and
it's BIS, it's not really worth
yeah.
taking out of the dungeon. Whereas if there's no market and you find like a regular pair of boots that look decent, you at least take them out because you're not guaranteed to find other pairs of boots that are better.
All right, well, we talked about it enough, and
All
so is
right,
everybody
yeah,
else.
enough
Let's move
market,
on to the
yeah.
next thing.
Um all right, well, where are we? PvE high roller mode.
uh,
What is this? Okay, so Goblin Recovery will be disabled in a PvE high roller mode. Great. Um, we still believe that the step from normal to high roller is too steep, so we're currently considering dividing the high roller into HR1 and HR2.
I think this is a big mistake, big
Huge.
mistake.
Yeah, I
If they
agree.
do this, I think if they really think it's too steep, just to make high roller easier. Like, why
Yeah.
is every mob a nightmare mob? It's not. I don't know about you, but for me, it's not even the players that are like
Yeah.
that much of a threat to me. It's more
Yeah.
the mobs.
The mobs, yeah, yeah. There's
It's
so
the
many
fucking
mobs,
mob.
or you aggro,
Like,
you try to dodge an attack or something from a player, and you aggro half a room full of mobs. You're kind of cooked anyway.
yeah, gear's in a good enough spot where even if someone's got this on, like, if you've got a decent kit, you have a chance. It's not necessarily like I've not gotten killed by a player and I'm like, oh man, I had no chance. This guy like
Yeah.
outgeared me to high heavens. Like, no, it's just the reason high roller is so frustrating is the mobs, the nightmare mobs. It's just, especially for the classes we play, rogue and ranger.
Yep. Yep.
A little bit less for ranger because at least you can kill them at range and
Like
chase
that
stuff.
one
But
time
like rogue,
that you got killed, and then I was coming around to try to finish off the people that you were fighting, and an archer skeleton came from behind me and triple shot me, just like instantly killed
yeah,
me.
yeah,
Yeah.
yep. Or that time when you were spectating me, I was playing solo, and I saw a bissed out rogue just
Oh
dead in
yeah.
between a pillar and a bat. Probably because the bat fucking double attacked and went behind him and like
Yeah.
beat him up into the
Yep.
wall.
Double tapped him.
Like,
That's
I
our
guarantee you
OP.
that dude that had all attributes on Grim Smiles and everything and died to a bat in ruins probably did not play the
Yeah.
game for a week.
No. Yeah. Guaranteed.
And again, especially if you have something like ruins, right, where there's 3 floors, there should be not a single nightmare skeleton on the first floor. Like, why is
Yeah.
that hard of a concept to get? Like, just make ruins not have any nightmares on it. Make
Yep.
make it so that way, you know, Inferno has like 80% nightmares, and like maybe Ruin or
Crips.
Crypts has like 25%, but make ruins have no nightmares.
Yeah.
Then you would actually get what you want, where there's the noobs farming on ruins like they said they wanted. Like, oh, we want the, you know, newer players to farm up on ruins. Like, that's not
Yeah.
what's happening. It's just people killing each other on ruins, and
Yeah.
newer players are going down and hiding in shadows. No
Yeah.
crypts.
Pretty much. Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah.
And
Although, don't you
they
think
think
that
they need
like
to make another gear bracket. So that's
don't
not
you
the
think
guy.
that
That's
would
not.
turn don't you think that would turn ruins into more of a PvP like fest than it already is?
I mean, maybe so, but like the PvP would at least be probably in the middle of the map,
Yeah.
like it always is on bridge and stuff.
Bridge.
Like,
Yeah.
but yeah, like remember that last game we played on ruins, and I was getting chased by like a million nightmare dogs and
Yeah.
nightmare crossbowmen, and I literally
Yeah.
just can't play the game. Once I have like 3-4 mobs on me,
Yeah.
I have to get behind a door and close it to be able to, you know, do anything.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. It's true. I mean, it becomes very difficult to play against another player and dodge many nightmare mobs for sure. Yeah, I don't know. That's definitely a tough thing, but yeah, this is for sure a mistake. This is just going back into gear brackets. So
Yeah,
like,
we already
what's the
did
point?
this. We don't need to do it again. Please don't do
Yeah,
it
I don't
again.
know. Yeah, there's no clown emoji here though, so I don't know. Cope, cook, wake up.
That's artificial, bro.
Yeah,
They didn't let the clown emoji.
yeah. All right, so when we revamped the dungeon selection system, the high roller mode was changed to random dungeon selection. This adjustment was primarily intended to reduce the matchmaking pool fragmentation, and it was the decision made with confidence in the skill and adaptability of high roller adventurers. This structure is expected to remain in place for the foreseeable future. However, not all dungeons were given the same selection probability because each dungeon offers a different number of floors. For example, Forgotten Castle has 3. It was assigned the highest selection rate to account for players gathering
They
as
basically
they
just say
progressed.
that you get crypts more than the other 2 dungeons because
Okay.
they say because it has 3 floors, but it's really probably because everybody likes crypts.
Yeah, and Frost Mountain sucks.
Yeah.
High roller. I mean, it sucks in normal mode, but like it sucks more in high roller.
Further down here, they mentioned that they weren't doing continuous dungeon apparently in HR. That's why the queue times were so long.
Oh.
So that's what they say further down here. They say in a bunch of words, but that's basically all they say. It's just that they turned off continuous dungeon in HR, but when it was like not prime time hours, it was like taking too long for queues to go through. So they did now they're doing a hybrid version of it where they're trying not to do continuous dungeon, but if it takes too long, like I'm assuming like maybe more than 5 minutes, it'll just instantly put you into a dungeon. That's what
Interesting.
it seems like, which I think is not a bad idea because like I would rather have a higher quality game in HR than just
Yeah.
get into the game as fast as possible. Because
Yeah.
I'm putting on a big kit.
True.
I want a high quality
I
match.
mean, true. With a caveat, I also don't want to wait 4 minutes in a queue. You know, like that's
Yeah,
just a
I
lot.
mean,
A lot.
it depends. It
Depends.
sucks in HR when you spawn where somebody else spawned, then you just follow the mobs that they killed and you sneak up behind them and kill them. That is not fun for the
Yeah,
other
that's not
person.
cool. Yeah, for sure.
So
Which we've done.
yeah, lots of time. I've done it, especially when I played solo as a rogue. Oh my god, so much.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, I agree with what you said, but that's pretty much everything else here.
Yeah, I just didn't feel like reading all the rest of that. I don't. He like
Yeah.
rambles and rambles.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much
Yeah.
all he said.
Yeah, I think we pretty much covered everything that's worth covering.
The big takeaways was that chart, that wackadoo chart, is that
Yeah.
20% of people are currently playing adventure mode, and they're planning on developing Faustian Bargain way more. They're planning on adding a high roller PVE mode. And they plan on fleshing out the classes more, adding more perks and stuff, as opposed to adding a new
I'm
class
cool with
altogether.
that. Yeah, I think
Yeah, I
it's
am too.
good to have classes have different play styles. I think that's a great
Yeah,
thing. I hope that he
yeah,
can
I agree with that too.
cook. Yeah. Let him cook.
But what do you guys think in terms of like the Faustian Bargain? Because we barely used it. We used it for like the first couple days, a couple times,
Yeah.
but we're over it.
Yeah. It was
But
just troll. Yeah, I smacked a couple of players and I was like, yeah. And also because like depending on the mob that you got, it was so freaking slow. Like if you got a skeleton and you spawn halfway across the map, you're like, I ain't going through all that trouble just to try to smack somebody. You know what I mean? It's just not
yeah,
worth it.
what would you guys like to see the Faustian Bargain become if it was its own game mode, or like would you like it to be? Yeah, what would you want it to be?
Yeah. Or like and also like what are your thoughts on the patches? Like we just kind of went through some of the patches, some of the at least some of the important things that I thought were in the patch and what SDF's kitchen what he mentioned in SDF kitchen, which is really just him rambling. Like half of the stuff might not even come to fruition anyway, but um I think it was just
Yeah,
kind of interesting to get a pulse on the community, not just our feelings, how we feel about it, because we get to talk to a lot of our friends that play, but um, you know, it's kind of like I don't know. Feel like we all share
yeah,
a similar opinion, but it'd be interesting to know. There was a lot of different kind of points of views in some of the other videos that we posted, so just be
yep,
interesting to see what other people think.
yeah. Well,
All right,
that was good.
yeah, and with that, we'll just leave it at that. We'll see you guys in the dungeon, right?
In caves.
In the caves. All right, signing out.
Peace.
Peace.